Hola.
Welcome to the best sports betting show on the planet. This is WagerTalk Today. I am your host, Andy Lang. It is $5 Tuesday. Every capper has a playoff for just $5. Board is packed with winners and packed with action. Whether you're looking to jump on one sharp play or just try out several new handicappers, today is the way to do it. Let's break it all down and help you cash in. We're going to be joined, of course, by Gianni, talk about the Steam report. Skee Profit's going to join us, talk about the WNBA game tonight between the Fever and the Lynx. And Teddy Covers will join us to talk Guardians and Cubs. Then Dan and I will move on to our next NFL season win total with, how about them Cowboys? Cowboys, 7.5 wins. All right, Dan, did we have anyone win yesterday's picking the exact score? Yes!
Andy, not only did we have one person win, we had, basically everyone winning yesterday.
So
it was quite the pick by the chat, I will say.
So sometimes you come up with an idea and it goes great, and then something happens that you never expected, and having 11 people pick the same score and have it be correct was quite the accomplishment. So shout out to Greg Wheeler, Bull1571, JD3711, Air Duck 23, Major Richardson, 90 Dust, Jose Perez, Brooke, Gary M, Solutions to World Problems. What a great handle that is. And Paul G, 8900. So we're gonna have to pick one person that gets the swag, and then Dan is reaching out to everyone else. We'll get you guys hooked up with something. So I'm gonna randomly pick one, and it's gonna be Brooke. Brooke 1059. Brooke, congratulations. You have won, and you're going to be getting the WagerTalk swag package. Everyone else, don't worry. We got something for you. But bear with us. We did not expect 11 people to be right on a game after going a bunch of days without anybody. So congrats to everyone, and we are going to do it again today. We're going to have a game where you got to pick the winner and the exact score. So congratulations to everyone out there. All right, let's talk to Gianni and find out where the money's going today. While we get started, hit the like button, guys. You know what to do. Hit the like button and leave us a comment. Tell us what you're enjoying about the show. Gianni, good morning. Happy $5 Tuesday to you, sir.
My man. All right. Busy. So busy today. Yesterday was like nothing to do. I was pissed because I got up so early for more or less nothing. I kind of organized my shelves a little bit. But today, just been firing since the time I woke up. We fired 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, like 15, 16 baseball plays already. So if you're ever going to buy my package, today's probably the day to buy a baseball package for sure. Because they're coming in on some of the sides I already leaned on from yesterday. I think I already released 2 4%ers to subscribers, so we're ready to go today.
All right, I love the shirt you're wearing. That's the Stardust. That is an awesome shirt. Where did you get that? How long have you had it?
No, actually, they still sell them now.
Because do they really?
Yeah. When the Stardust, before they knocked down the Stardust, they sold it to Boyd Properties, which is a local casino. They own like Suncoast, I think the Orleans, those kind of properties. So they still have it in their gift shops. I couldn't believe it. We were just having to go through there to grab something, and I saw it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm grabbing that nostalgic shirt for sure." They should have never knocked that place down. Should have kept it. Should have built around it. That's the cathedral for sports betting and gambling in Vegas. Other than the original, the Flamingo, which only in Vegas do they knock down an original. But they shouldn't have knocked down the Flamingo or the Stardust. They should have built around those two cathedrals.
Yeah, agree. Let's take a look at where the money's going. We only got one WNBA game tonight. Kind of limited on the sporting events, so I'm guessing it's all MLB today.
Yeah, nothing at all on that WNBA game. What I am seeing is under money, under. And I don't know if the early money may have been sharp at that high number, but since then, a couple of the accounts, the recreational accounts that do bet WNBA, they seem to like that game under because regardless what side they have, whether they're taking or laying, they're parlaying it and teasing it with the under. So obviously they expect a low scoring game, at least the betting public does. And the market kind of reflects that. It opened 167.5. The initial move, I think, went up and then it started coming back down and it just kept coming down as more public money bets into it.
Looking at the MLB standings, you look like a profit with the Dodgers. They're already up to 62.4% win percentage. This is what we talked about at the beginning of the year. And a lot of these teams that were over 60% are dropping more and more. Yankees are down to 57% wins. Astros are doing well. They're at 59.5. Phillies are at 58. Cubs down to 58.3. And there are those Tigers. They're still holding strong at 62.4, but they're 5-5 in their last 10. That's not a winning proposition when they're going to be the favorites in all of those. So what teams are you kind of monitoring? Or is it just kind of hold still right now? Or are there any teams that you're really looking at that are going to regress up or down?
No, but there's a couple teams that are still like, I was high on Minnesota when they were underperforming early, and they're still underperforming now. They're going to come back and win the division? Probably not. Is that future bet toast? Probably. Again, it's just one future out of probably 15 that we bet. But I thought when the season started, they were still playing well below market expectations, and they're still there. In fact, like I said, the guy that I trust most, he still has it going. Detroit winning that one now easily at about 58-59% is where he expects them to end. And then Minnesota will probably be about 2 games above 500. Which probably will not be enough even to get a wild card. So they're not going to make the playoffs, but they should be playing better than they are right now. I'll just go through it real quickly for you guys, because this is gold. Like you look at a team like right now, like Minnesota, again, they're playing below Kansas City. They're like, those teams are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. Even the White Sox won a little bit less than they should, but they're expected to win about 35% when the season's over. They're only about at 33. Even the Yankees, you look at the Yankees, they're right where they should be. My guy has them winning 57% of their games. They're right at 57. And the team behind them, he has Toronto and Tampa at 54 and 53.5. So you expect both Tampa to drop a little bit, and Toronto's playing about where they should be. And finally, Houston at 60%. They're playing above expectations. He has them winning the division at about 56%, and Seattle right behind them. Seattle's playing even a little bit below what they should. And finally, real quickly, in the NL, the Cubs supposed to win that division at 58%. That's where they are at 58%. Philadelphia supposed to win that division at 57%. They're at 58%. And the Dodgers, last but not least, he has them winning barely over 62% of their games. And like you said, they're at 62%. So again, not to say I was right, but that's what you can expect. We have enough history now with baseball seasons to know, again, there will be outliers. There's always those athletes, those teams that outperform the betting market, that defy probability. That the key that you got to remember as a sports bettor is you can only defy probability for so long. You can't continue doing that. It's kind of like we talk about when you see someone on a hot run, they're 10-1. That's not sustainable. They're not going to continue hitting over 90% of their bets. Like, you can have those outliers, but they're just not sustainable. And in baseball, you have a long enough season where the truth will unfold. That's the key that you got to remember with baseball. Other sports, it's not the case. And I know a lot of betting syndicates that have got burned in the past by looking on paper. This team is not a 12-win football team. They should be an 8-win football team. So they're expecting this team to regress, but there's just not enough time. In baseball, we don't have that problem, brother. These teams have more than enough time to regress and progress. And they're right around, again, right where they should be. I'm looking for someone at the bottom that I could share with you guys that should move up. But I really don't see it. Everyone is kind of right where they should be. They really are. They're right around where they should be. You see Colorado. Colorado's at 22%, and he has them winning about 28, 29%. So Colorado's that one team that you want to look in the second half of the season to probably do a little better than they did in the first half of the season.
After All-Star break, me personally, I'm looking at teams that are kind of waving the white with the white flag and looking at, they're bringing up a bunch of young guys to see what they got in prospects. So we're coming up on the All-Star break. What's the strategy? Is there a shift in strategy once we get past the All-Star break?
No, I mean, that's so key what you said. It's so hard to determine what the team's going to do, once August rolls around, mid-August, and if they're out of it. What kind of motivation do you have from the veterans, and what do you have from the young guys coming up? Like, there to make a statement, try to make the team. So you're guessing a lot as far as things that you can't even quantify motivation. That's the difficulty. But historically, second half win totals have done very well. I know last year we bet a handful of them. They ended up doing very well. So the approach, at least what I saw the last couple of years from the second half season win totals, it's kind of betting off the first half win totals. Exactly what I talked about. What we touched on, some of those teams that are outperforming or underperforming. And what they're going to do at the All-Star break is bet those underperforming teams over and bet those overperforming teams under. And now they even have half a season of sample size to take advantage of, because some of them have outperformed, some of them have underperformed. So now you even have it played out on the field. Like, before the season starts, it's just on paper. We haven't seen anything. This is what we're projecting to happen. Now the projections become a lot easier because we're going to have 80 plus games as data. That's a huge sample. That's why I highly recommend looking at those second half totals and using that approach, not being afraid to bet the overs on those teams like Colorado, those teams that have come out doing so bad, and not being afraid to bet the under on teams like Detroit when that second half season win totals come out. Because again, now not only do we have our own projections from beginning of the year, but we have data half a season to go by. So yeah, I think those are some of the best bets on the way as far as futures come. Like, I it's worth me tying up my money. Nobody likes to tie up that much of their bankroll, but when October rolls around, end of September, and all of a sudden you get a flush of cash in your accounts, it's a good feeling when football comes. So subscribers, rest assured, you will have second half season win totals like you did last year.
Absolutely. It's $5 Tuesday, Gianni. I know you mentioned it earlier, but tell everyone once again what you have up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, I got a 4% in Major League Baseball for you. It's a nice total. There's even a half a run better out there. But, I gave you guys the best of it, meaning like I was able to go under 8.5, but we're going to grade it at under 8. So there's good lines still available. I don't think it's going to last all that long because I did choose the one that multiple groups are on. It's one of those days where I swear to you, we bet 15 plus baseball plays, and on at least double digit of those, it's multiple groups. So maybe 5 or 6 are manipulation, but we're looking at some legit moves today. So I'm excited to send those out over the next 60 minutes to subscribers.
Love it. Gianni The Greek, thank you so much. Good luck on $5 Tuesday. Good luck on that.
Do some 4%. Damage, brother. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you again tomorrow. All right, guys, hit the like button. And again, take advantage of $5 Tuesday. You can grab a best bet from any handicapper for just $5. Perfect time to try your favorite handicapper, sample some new ones, stack up plays across multiple sports. Make sure we're betting responsibly. Stay within your bankroll, but take advantage of this deal while it's up. You're not going to find a better deal in the industry than $5 Tuesday. So take advantage, get as many as you want, but again, make sure we're protecting our bankroll. Let's go to all around the world, give out some free plays before we talk to Skee Profit here. Got a couple MLB plays and a golf play. We will go to the Braves and the Angels first. I'm going to take a look at the Angels over 1.5 on their team total the first 5 innings. This is a play I think you can look for today and tomorrow. Holmes is going to start today. It was going to be Fuentes. Fuentes is going tomorrow. That's a guy we want to fade. But Holmes, he's better than Fuentes, but Holmes has allowed 2 or more in 5 out of his last 6 starts, and this total is only 1.5. So Angels have put up a decent amount of runs the last few games, so I'd look at Angels today and tomorrow. Of course, we'll talk about the Angels tomorrow when they go up against Fuentes. Going to the John Deere Classic, Ben Griffin, top 20, only minus 115. This is one of the hottest guys on tour. 6 straight finishes, 14th or better. 5th at this tournament last year, and he's number 1 in total strokes gained in this field the last 3 months. So Ben Griffin in the top 20 is a guy I got circled at really good odds. Then we're going to take a look at the Cubs and the Guardians. Guardians under 3.5. team total. I believe someone in the chat pointed this one out as well. This is a free play from Brian Leonard on the WagerTalk free picks page. Cleveland really struggling against lefties, and they face Boyd, who has a 2.65 ERA and a 1.1 WHIP. So looking at the Guardians under 3.5 on the team total. We have a lot of free plays loaded on the WagerTalk free picks page. Just go there and you'll get a lot of baseball plays today. All right, let's bring in our good friend Skee Profit. We're going to talk the Fever and the Lynx, get his thoughts on WNBA. How are you this morning, Skee?
I'm okay. I enjoyed myself last night at least, so I'm a little late this morning, and I'm catching up on some NBA news I'm seeing on my timeline. So a lot of movement, a lot of stuff going on. Well, it should be interesting.
Yeah, let's talk this Fever and the Lynx. Of course, big story is Caitlin Clark. I guess she's a game time decision. I would expect her to play in this one. Fever need wins, but this is a really tough matchup for the Fever here. Minnesota minus 6.5 over under at 164.5. What's your take on this game?
I think Caitlin Clark will play. I think the line will come back down. I think a lot of people go bet the Fever, and I'm not one of them. If Caitlin Clark plays, I don't even care. I think the Lynx are a much better team. They're 14-2. I want to say they haven't lost a game without Nafisa Collier. Could be mistaken. Maybe they lost one, but they've shown they're the best team in the league. They're healthy. And for the Fever, one thing I'll say is if Caitlin Clark does play, I mean, she's been playing terrible lately. I want to say she's made 1 out of the last 20-something threes. She's been very bad on the road, especially. And I don't expect her to come in one game and look amazing, because that's what they'll need to beat this Lynx team. And if she doesn't play, I know in the last game they looked a little bit better. They beat the Dallas Wings, but that's still a Dallas Wings defense. Aerie does give them better point guard play than Sid Colson, but versus a team like Minnesota, it's a much different test defensively. So my recommendation right now would be wait until Caitlin Clark is ruled in if you like the Lynx, and then go and bet that side at the best number once it drops. If you like the Fever, you want to get in right now. So I don't like the Fever. I think the Lynx are the right side.
I do too. I think they get a lot of publicity, and a lot of times we don't talk about the X's and O's with this team. They've kind of been struggling this year. A team I've been kind of pleasantly surprised by, Chicago Sky, without Cardosa. Pace has been up. The scoring has been up. I'm finding this team kind of polarizing and kind of interesting. I thought they'd be terrible without Cardosa. So what's been your take on the Chicago Sky as of recently?
I wish I had the stats in front of me, but pretty much I like what they're doing with Angel Reese. They really lack guard talent, and they're starting to make her be more of a playmaker. And, some of these passes she's throwing, Jokic-like passes, I just think they're finally using her right. And because of it, they're able to have more success. I mean, she's had the best 4-game stretch, I think, of her young career, and that's contributing to wins. They won 2 out of those, I think 2 out of 3 games, or maybe 2 out of 2 is better than what they were looking like to start the year. So using her better is starting to make the Sky look better, in my opinion.
Yeah, can I get your thoughts on some NBA free agency things? I don't know if you saw the Bucks waive Damian Lillard.
That's what I just saw.
Boy, is that the first step before Giannis goes and all of a sudden the Bucks are in a gigantic rebuild? That was a curious move.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to compare it to the Lakers, but Lakers take care of their stars. Like, you don't see the Lakers going and saying, oh, LeBron's old, let's just dump him off, or Kobe's old, let's dump him off. I know they're different talents than Damian Lillard, but isn't this the guy who tried to come back and from his injuries to come in and play in the playoffs for this team, and you repay him by waiving him? I just don't think that's good business. And when people in your organization, other top players like Giannis, see you're not doing good business, he's probably not going to want to stick around. I mean, that's universal, I think, in business. So I don't like it. Clearly Giannis didn't like it. We'll see if he sticks around. I don't think he will.
I thought what the Nuggets did was pretty interesting. They shipped off Porter Jr. They had Cam Johnson. They had Bruce Brown. Any other curious, interesting moves that you thought? The Lakers losing Dorian Finney-Smith, I thought was a tough blow for them.
No.
Oh, yeah?
Dorian
Okay.
Finney-Smith, he's a fake defender. That's what I'm calling him. I don't know. He was a little bit overhyped for me. He wasn't doing enough of what I needed. He was doing some things, but I think we'll be all right without Dorian Finney-Smith. The Nuggets, I feel like they got a big upgrade. I mean, they pretty much got the same player, but he plays defense too now.
Yeah.
And then you add Bruce Brown back for them. That's another wing who can defend. You subtract Russell Westbrook. I mean, all I'm seeing is plus for the Nuggets, and I absolutely do not like the Nuggets, so I hate to see it.
Houston, my gosh, are they just loading up and loading up? This
I
could
like
be a
Houston.
this could be a really fun regular season to monitor between Houston and Thunder. That could be a crash course waiting to happen. So yeah, your agreement, Houston.
The Hawks too.
I was going to ask you about the Hawks because now I love the Hawks and I love what they're doing, and they got the perfect time to jump in the East. Like, look at all the teams that just aren't going to be competitive. What a perfect time for the Hawks. Who do you like better? What they've done, Houston or Atlanta?
I really like what I see over in Atlanta. And like you said, it's just a perfect scenario for them to be able to jump up in the East and do better. So I always say this is personally wherever there's Trey, there's a way, and now he's starting to get some help around him. So I love to see that. For the Rockets, I may be, one of the few, but I am not a Jalen Green fan. I was happy to see them get rid of him and move to go get KD because if you watch the playoffs, they were starving for offense. They could play defense, they can get stops, but nobody could score the ball. And that's what you get in Kevin Durant, a certified bucket getter. And they still were able to keep most of their other good pieces. So I love what I'm seeing in Houston. I think they'll be very competitive, but the West is stacked. There's nothing like that easy path over there in the East this year. So Hawks, I think I would like a little bit more right now, just for that reason.
I agree. This is Trey Young's shot, man. This is a chance to make some big waves and show he can do it. They get Jalen Johnson back. That team's going to be really, really good, man. Really, really good. So
one thing,
yes,
I saw a question in the chat. They said they want to know my opinion or something on the Lakers. I'll tell you my wish list for the Lakers. How about that?
okay.
I'm hoping they get DeAndre Ayton, who he was just waived too, right? So he's available come Wednesday to sign with somebody, and he's in talks with the Lakers, has the same agent as Luka. I want him as a center, and I would like Andrew Wiggins as a wing. If I can get those two, I really like the Lakers' chances this season. If I don't, I may not like their chances this season. So that's how I'm feeling about it right now.
Conspiracy theory: LeBron somehow ends up in the Eastern Conference.
Well,
this year.
If they don't get Aiden, he could force his way out. I mean, we've seen this plenty of times. LeBron is going to do whatever he has to do to try to win, whether it's going to another team or whatever. So it was interesting that the report came out before the Aiden news and said, he's monitoring to see if we can be a championship team. And then as soon as the Aiden news came out, it was like, he's probably going to stick around. So I think he'll be there.
All right.
Not that I want him to.
I know. All right, it's $5 Tuesday. Tell everyone what you have up for comments, please, or for clients.
I haven't played anything yet. I'm gonna, like I told you, my plan for this Commissioner's Cup game already. When I do put a $5 play up, it'll be for the Thursday WNBA games, and I just want to do my due diligence and make sure I have a nice winner for you guys. We had success last $5 Tuesday. I want another nice win like that. So be on the lookout. Maybe in the next 2 hours, I'll be playing a WNBA play for Thursday. And also, if you want to hear more about WNBA every single day, come check out the show I do with Rob Vino at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. We go through the entire board, and it's a good conversation. A lot of info can help you in your decision-making process for your bets.
All right, Skee Profit. Love doing this, and exciting free agency. Maybe next week we can break down some of the teams a little bit more. Hey, season win total is gonna be right around the corner, and Skee and I did it. Ronald, I believe, is in the chat as well. We did the Eastern Conference and Western Conference team totals, season win totals last year. So looking forward to doing that. Last day, guys, for the 7 days for $69 special that we have up, less than $10 a day. You can use this on one handicapper, or we're giving the option to use it for flex picks, so you can take one handicapper one day, another handicapper the next day, one handicapper for 3 days. You have the option. You have the power to decide which handicapper that you want to use each day. So 7 days. We do this every 4th of July, 7 days for $69. All access or flex picks from your favorite WagerTalk handicappers. Only $69. Take advantage of that at WagerTalk.com. It is $5 Tuesday. My $5 play is a team total in MLB. We keep looking at these totals and these team totals. We're on a 24-10 run in these totals. We're 35-20 in totals in 2025. So this has been a really, really good spot. There's a couple that jumped off the board, but one in particular made the card as the $5 play. So grab that if you're interested in an MLB team total. Really, really love the play. Wasn't sure I was going to even have a play up for $5 Tuesday, but line came out and it was way too good to pass up. So that is what I have up at WagerTalk.com. Let's bring in Teddy Covers. We're going to talk Guardians and Cubs. And then we're going to talk a little season win total here with the Cowboys, myself and Dan, but I'm certainly going to get Teddy's opinion on this one. Teddy, how are you, sir?
What's the right answer? Stressed out's not the right word, but the win report comes out tomorrow, you know? So today's like final decision day. So we're actively contemplating. And again, you know what? For me, it all starts with a short list. You know, you go through all the teams, you say, all right, these are some overs I'm looking at, these are some unders I'm looking at. And then you start winning them out, which is going to be a strong play, what might be a 5% big ticket. This one, maybe this one hits the cutting room floor. So most of those decisions have been made, but not all of them. So today's about making the final decisions, making the final cuts, deciding exactly. I'm pretty sure what I'm going to use for my 5%, but there's another candidate that I'm still considering. And of course, the report comes out noon tomorrow. So we may not sleep between now and then, Andy, because of course we've got to type it all up too, and you know the write-ups for these are significant. You know, I like the pressure. I'm good under pressure in general, but today's pressure day. You know, it's final cut day.
That's exciting, man. Teddy lives for this. I'm always excited when NBA playoffs come around for Teddy. It's season win report, and of course, every time you're on the show, we get excited. Let's break down. Let's go to MLB real quick. Guardians and the Cubs, and of course, I'll ask you a little bit of NFL. We got Williams going for the Guardians, Boyd for the Cubs. Looks like we got a few Cubs lovers in the chat here. What's your breakdown here? Cubs minus 185 favorite.
Sure, and we've seen a lot of Cubs money since last night. Last night when I looked at it was a minus 165 for Chicago. There are minus 160s out there. So the overnight and early morning money has come for Chicago. And that line looked cheap at the time for Chicago. That's not necessarily the case for today. There's a handful of bets that stand out to me for this ballgame. And it starts with some – let me tell you why I'm not taking Chicago, all right? Boyd has been great this year, all right? The Guardians can't hit lefties. Boyd leads and by can't hit lefties, I mean they're number 27th in the league over the last month in WRC plus against lefties. They've really struggled against opposing southpaws. And Boyd leads the Cubs. He's got 11 quality starts, and you go through his game log, it's every time he's been solid. But one thing that I look for is, hey, Boyd revived his career in Cleveland last year. If anyone knows how to take advantage of his weaknesses, if anyone knows how to hit this guy, in theory, it should be the Guardians. And the Cubs aren't playing good baseball, you know. I mean, they're 4-7 their last 11 ball games. Got shut out again in their last contest. Yeah, they lead the top 3 in runs scored this year for Chicago, but not lately. That lineup, there's been a lot more missed than hit. They've been held to 2 runs or less, like 11 times over the course of the last month. So it's not a lineup that's clicking on all cylinders right now for the Cubs. They're not playing great baseball. At the same time, we look at Gavin Williams and the Guardians, and we've been waiting for this for 2 years for Cleveland. You know, when they finally, the Guardians way overachieved last year compared to their statistical profile. They won all the one-run games. Their bullpen, was out of their minds. They got clutch hits, et cetera, et cetera. This year, for the first month and a half, 2 months of the season, it was the same thing for Cleveland, where they continue to find ways where the stats say you should be here, the stats say you should be here, and they're playing at this level up here. That has not been the case in recent weeks. All right. Cleveland has been struggling. And they've been struggling, 11-20. It's not a short-term issue for the Guardians. They did have yesterday off, and the manager said, hey, look, we're gonna reset. We play 13 games in a row here before the break. It's our chance to come back and make some noise. And I agree with that assessment, but it's not a team that I trust right now. And Gavin Williams, you look at his stat, the guy's been pitching out of trouble all year. He's walked, let me just double check that my numbers are right. In his last 14 starts, he's walked 2 or more batters 13 times. In one start where he only had 1 walk. And he's walked consistently 3, 4, 5, each of his last 3 starts, 3 or more walks for Williams. And that dates back, he had a 6-walk outing and a 4-walk outing and a 5-walk outing in May. It's not anything new or unique. So when I'm looking at this game and so where are we going to go with it? Part of me, I thought the initial lean for Chicago that the line was just too low, and it's not anymore. So I'm not going to lay it with the Cubs. Do we want to run line the Cubs? Well, the wind's blowing in today. I don't necessarily love Boyd in this matchup for as good as he's been. I worry that Cleveland's going to see him. I can certainly make a case for the Cleveland team total under 3.5. But I think the best bet here, and I just double checked to make it real, it's real. Gavin Williams, 2 or more walks, minus 270. I'll lay that juice here. When a pitcher who consistently he's not eating up innings, his command hasn't been there, he's afraid to pitch to good hitters, and he's walked 2 or more batters, again, 13 of his last 14 starts, I can lay 270 with that against a Cubs team that's patient at the plate. That, to me, is probably the best bet for this ballgame. And you might want to ladder that. 2 or more walks, minus 270. 3 or more walks, plus 115. Get a nice plus price on 4 or more walks for Williams. And they're pulling him every time he's walking batters. He's lasting into the 6th inning, 4 of his last 5 starts. And, you can go back to May, and he's going 5+ innings in 7 of his last 9. So Williams over walks is the one that makes the most sense to me for this one. A little bit of Cleveland team total under maybe, a little bit of Cubs maybe, but Williams is the pitcher that I want to fade in this one, and that would be the way I would do it.
You don't have to convince me on a player prop there, Teddy. I'm all aboard. I'm all aboard this one. So yeah, I love that one. I love a good walks prop, especially that 1.5 number. Those are like the walks are almost kind of like NBA made threes. Whenever you get guys that are like 1.5 threes, like okay, I think they can make 2. And once it gets a 2.5, you're like, that's a lot. That's a lot. I love that one. Great player prop.
Well, you got to lay. I mean, to get over 1.5, you're talking about minus 270. I mean, it's a significant lay, but I expect it to cash. And when I really do. So that's my best bet for Cubs Guardians tonight. Cleveland definitely a team I'm looking to continue to fade.
Let's talk a little bit of NFL. Can you give us any tidbits? For example, Dan and I are talking about the Cowboys, 7.5 wins a day. Do you have anything on the Cowboys or any other little interesting tidbits of information you've unlocked?
There's at this stage, there's
there's a million.
Andy, I got so much stuff in the NFL in my head right now. One tidbit. So the Cowboys are not on my short list. I'm not looking at the Cowboys over. I'm not looking at the Cowboys under. I think the 7.5 is an appropriate line for Dallas. And if I had to make a bet, look, there are some books that are already at 8. And one, I'll tell you this. Here's a tidbit. All right. This is legitimate. I've been doing this for 24. This is my 20. I had 24 previous NFL win reports. In the early days, there was some line variance, the early 2000s. By 2010, the line variance by this, is slim. This year, as I'm like, okay, what line can I release this at? There's a huge amount of line variance in the market still. And a part of the reason is that so many books are putting up alternate lines. You see over 4.5, over 5.5, over 6.5, and they're adjusting the juice at the same book. It's not like you go here and got over 4.5 into this book under 6.5. So there are ladder plays you can make that haven't really been available in this markets the same way in recent decades. There is variance in the markets that you haven't seen in recent decades. And there are a lot of books that are only posting half win numbers, 9.5, 10.5, 8.5. There are other books that are very willing to post the 9s and 8s and 10s. And you're seeing great opportunities as a bettor because some books won't let you push and other books will. The push is very valuable when it comes to season win totals, in this bettor's opinion. So some of those, well, the markets are 10.5, but this book's at 10, or the markets are 9.5, this book's at 10. The 10s are worth paying attention to in those instances. So in terms of line variance, much more significant in 2025 than in any recent year that I put this report out. When it comes to Dallas, there's upside for Dallas, but at the same time, anytime you're talking about a team that has a big portion of their salary cap locked up in a handful of players like the Cowboys do, that's a red flag. A, those guys get hurt, your season's ruined. B, your depth isn't there. And Dallas has multiple guys on these max deals. The roster makeup, because of that, leaves them with a fair few holes, at least in this bettor's opinion.
All right, Teddy, it's $5 Tuesday. Tell clients what you have up at WagerTalk.
I got a $5 best bet in MLB for today. We won last Tuesday with our $5 best bet. I expect to do it again tonight. I think it's a rock solid winner. And obviously, the NFL season win report comes out tomorrow. And I got a promo code for you guys if you're interested. NFL 100. You get the season win report. You can pay $199 for it. Or you can get my NFL season, get every play from the first day of the preseason right through the Super Bowl, including the NFL win report. You get the win report for free. And you save $100 with promo code NFL100 at checkout. So full season package, every play, every day, right through the Super Bowl. No BS, no bait and switch, no nonsense, including the win report. Use promo code NFL100, take $100 off, or get the win report. Again, it comes out tomorrow, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, and that's $199. 103 and 52 lifetime, 66% over the 24 years I've been doing it. 17 and 4, 81% with the 5% big tickets. We won the 5% big ticket last year. We had another winning season with the win report last year, and it's coming out tomorrow. So take advantage. Promo code NFL100. I know it's July. It's July today, right? Yes. I know it's July. It's time. The season's right around the corner. Get on board.
All right, Teddy covers everyone. Take advantage of that promo code, and big day when Teddy comes out with his season win report. Thank you so much, Teddy. We're going to bring in Dan, but real quick, a lot of you have, we'll say, asked about the Steam Room. First off, guys, calm down. If there's no Steam, there's nothing to report. Gianni comes on and he talks about the games that are taking a lot of action and significant line moves. And some days there's just nothing to really talk about. And so we're not going to force anything. Like Gianni's not going to come on and give you nonsensical numbers or things that, don't really exist or get you hyped up. Sometimes there are just days when there's not a lot of excitement, and that's just part of the business. I know somebody referred to me as a mean name. That's a great way to not get your question answered. But if there's no follow-up, then there's nothing to follow up on. So there's not much that Gianni or I can do if the markets are not giving us all the information. So, and the other thing about the Steam report is a lot of times these numbers have already moved. You can't play them. Like, we're just telling you, hey, this is what the big line move was, but the value might have already been sucked out of it. So be careful when you're paying attention to the Steam report where the money is going, because a lot of this money and a lot of this movement has taken place overnight. We're here to try and make you guys better at what you do, but we're not going to force anything, and I'm certainly not going to force Gianni to make something when there's really nothing there. So some days it's just not going to be the most exciting Steam report in the world. So, all right, let's bring in Dan here. Sorry, Dan. I didn't know I was going to catch strays for Gianni's.
What, am I funny to you? I like a clown? I amuse you? Maybe that's what they meant, Andy. You know?
Hey, listen, got to be on your toes. Sometimes you.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we want Gianni to come on here and lie to us and tell us that Steam is going when it's not. Sometimes, like you said, Andy, if it was an everyday thing, oh my God, there's this huge bet. There's this. I mean, sometimes the board just falls the way that it does, and maybe leading up to game time, there will be some heavy steam, and then Maybe that's why you buy Gianni All Access, but he gives it to you free here every single day. But Andy, so you'll entertain some people. You'll piss off the other, like a third of people. And then the final segment, who cares about the final segment? That's the way that I always look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, Monday mornings in football season, that's going to be your most important morning. That's usually when, Monday morning shows during football season is going to be one of the most important pieces of content that you guys watch.
1,000%.
There's going to be college football line movement, NFL line movement. That's when we come in. But it's the first day of July. There's like some MLB games, and that's about it. Not a lot of.
There's no pleasing you. You want a bong and a blintz? Smoking a pancake? There's no pleasing some people, Andy.
All right, well, let's please some people by talking about the Dallas Cowboys. Their over-under win total is 7.5 here. The Cowboys were 7-10 last year. Dan, 4 of their wins were 2 Giants wins, Panthers and Browns. Yikes. PFF ranked their offense 28th last year and their defense 28th. Offseason moves, a lot of it was kind of keeping some of the guys that they had from last year. Defensive linemen were signed, some linebackers. They re-signed some of their secondary.
George Pickens
joins them. Yeah, they have the backfield of Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. Curious. That'll be interesting. I'm a Javonte Williams fan. I'll be interested to see if they can get some more out of him. So I'll go over the schedule here real quick. They have a brutal stretch after their bye week, but they start at your Eagles. Then they go Giants, at Bears, Packers, at Panthers, Commanders, at Broncos, Cardinals. Then they get their bye week in the middle. At Raiders, and here they go, Eagles, Chiefs, at Lions, Vikings, Chargers, at Commanders. Holy smokes. What a brutal stretch. And then they do get the gift of at Giants in the last week. So 7.5. I'm guessing a lot of this is Dak going to be healthy. Of course, you can say that about everybody, but there's obviously quarterbacks that we have a lot more questions about. What do you break down on this Cowboys team? I know you follow them a little bit more close than some other teams just because they're in your division.
Yeah, and I'm sure that people will think I'll just come on here and right away start talking smack on Dallas because I'm an Eagles fan. No, I like betting on the Eagles just the same as I like betting against them. I like that I follow the NFC East so closely. I feel like I have a good handle on these teams, and that kind of reflects in my spread picks throughout the year. The thing is, for me, Eddie, you laid out the numbers there on how absolutely abysmal that offense was. And because it was so bad, they say, hey, let's take the mastermind behind it and make him our head coach. I don't get the Brian Schottenheimer thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think there were 1,000 different ways you could do. And if you're trying to reinvent the Cowboys, which I think is really what needed to happen after you're moving away from McCarthy and you've kind of, teetered in that mediocrity of just not being able to break through in the playoffs, why would you not go out and do something new? So that's my first knock against the Cowboys heading into this year. I like what they did in the offseason. I mean, bringing in George Pickens is never going to be a bad thing. But one of the things that Pittsburgh learned with George Pickens is even when he was the number one option, he's not happy about his production. He's not happy about his role in the offense. So now that he's going to be standing in the shadow of CeeDee Lamb, how is that going to play out from a personality perspective? It could be a match made in heaven, but I hate to simplify it down, Andy, and boil it down to, well, it depends on the quarterback play. But in the case of the Dallas Cowboys, it really does. I mean, majority of their entire bankroll is tied up in Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. So if that connection is great, this team will be fine. The problem that worries me is you hear the Dallas Cowboys and you see a number 7.5, and that just begs you, just by thinking in your mind, it's the Dallas Cowboys. How do they not win 8 games? This number is begging you to take the over. I'm also not going to disagree with the guy who wins with season win reports each and every year that the Cowboys weren't even on his damn list in Teddy covers. What he was talking about. 7.5, the number makes sense. I probably lean towards the over, just sight unseen. But then you break down those stretches in the schedule, Andy, that are completely just brutal. So, I don't know how you could not be lukewarm at best on the Cowboys heading into this season because things really haven't changed that much. You added a couple different names. I think I'm going to be pumped up about Miles Sanders being added to your running back by committee. I'm not. And their offensive line each year has come back down to earth, and that was the lifeblood of the team. So the ever slightest lean simply because it's the Dallas Cowboys, and I think the Washington Commanders are going to take a step back this year, so maybe they pick up a win there. I lean towards this over, but it's tepid at best, Andy. I hate this number. I think this is going to be an impossible team to handicap. In their games this season, they're favored in 6 of them. So if you're playing that game, how do you get over 7.5? If Dak Prescott plays up to the level that we've seen him previously, that he wasn't playing it last year before his injury, this could go over, but this isn't one you add to your card. I think you cross this one off the list personally.
Yeah, I'm going to ever so slightly lean to the under just because, I mean, you have 2 Giants games that should be wins. At Raiders should be a win. And then I just can't really pick easy wins. I mean, that stretch of Eagles, Chiefs, at Lions, Vikings, Chargers, that's got winless or just 1 win out of it. The Dak injury is always a thing. Their offensive line, they lost Martin. This coaching move, I don't understand in the slightest. And listen, at Bears, Packers, at Panthers, Commanders, at Broncos, that's not easy as well. I think wins are going to be really, really tough for this team. The number seems about perfect. I will ever so slightly lean to the under, but yeah, this is not going to be the huge play. Oh, I'm putting this up at 4% or 5%.
Yeah.
Number seems about right, but I will ever so slightly lean to the under. But hey, you lean over, lean under. I can't say it's a huge disagreement where we're playing.
I mean, again, Andy, when you're talking about like these also help you, how are you going to bet this team this year, right? And if you're looking at this Dallas Cowboys team being favored in only 6 games, if you like this over, you just take them on the money line when they're a dog in the 10 other games, in the 11 other games, right? You know what I mean? There's way better ways to bet this than tying up for just to tell your buddies, hey, I told you they were going to win 8 games. That's the way that I kind of view it.
All right, so we're gonna slightly disagree, but really we agree that this line is about perfect.
We agree that this is gross. I don't want to bet the Cowboys. Gross. I mean, It's just it's too gross. Even Teddy said this wasn't even on his long list. So just cross this one off.
All right, well, leave in the comment section if you got a team that we want to go over. Bruce, Andy, can I get a birthday pick? Yeah, go for that first 5 team total on the Angels over. If you can't get the first 5. Take a look at the over. I think the Angels put up some runs today. I think they're going to do it today and tomorrow. So, all right, you know what? We're going to pass on trying to do a pick the correct score. We need to sort out all the winners from the last one. So, give us a day to sort out everything. But please leave us a comment. Just tell us who you like tonight. Tell us who you like on the Cowboys. If you like the over or under in the comment section after the show is over. We'll get back to giving away more swag on Wednesday. Take advantage of $5 Tuesday. I've got a team total best bet that is up in MLB. Every handicapper has a $5 play. So whether you pick 1, whether you pick 5, whether you pick 10, make sure you're managing your bankroll and we don't have too much in play on a Tuesday night. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Good luck on your plays, and we'll see everyone tomorrow. Take care.